Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I am back in my sister's room sitting on the floor. Will I ever have a proper place to film? I don't know. Today we're going to be talking about all of the benefits that resistance training has to offer. And surprise, none of these benefits that we're going to be talking about today have anything to do with weight loss or changing the way your body looks. There's plenty of content like that out there, but this is not what this is going to be. I think we can get too in our head about exercise and things like that, and we forget that movement is a gift and how amazing it is that our bodies allow us to do all of these things. And also, it's really cool that there are so many other things that we can focus on instead of weight. Now let's get into it. Now the first benefit of resistance training is its effect on our mental health, and this one is such an important one to consider. Resistance training has been reported to lead to a reduction in the symptoms associated with things like chronic fatigue, anxiety, or depression. It's also been seen to have really positive influences and changes on our self-esteem. I personally find that when I go to the gym, I feel really good, and it is definitely because I'm getting all of those happy hormones, but it's also because it's like I made a little promise to myself and I'm holding up my end of the promise. So it's like a little tap on the back moment. Like, it's awesome that we're able to be consistent and to say that we're gonna do what we're gonna do. One study even went so far as to report that after just 10 weeks of resistance training, 3 times per week, older people were no longer clinically depressed. Think about how amazing this is for a second. There was no more clinically significant diagnosis of depression after 10 weeks. 10 weeks. That is honestly unreal and such a reason to celebrate. If that hasn't convinced you to get in the gym, I don't know what will, but I still have 4 other benefits for you. The next reason that we should all do resistance training, or at least try it out, is that it improves our cardiovascular health. So this means that it keeps our heart happy and it keeps our blood pumping and everything working smoothly. You might be thinking, now doesn't cardio training or aerobic training do this to a better extent? And cardio absolutely does help our cardiovascular system, cardiovascular, but resistance training can too. One study reported instances of reduced resting blood pressure after 2 months of resistance training, and the effects of this are pretty comparable to aerobic activity, which is really cool. So it means if you absolutely can't get yourself to go do some cardio, then maybe resistance training is a better alternative so that you can still be reaping some of those benefits. Some research has shown that resistance training can improve our blood lipid profile, and this essentially means that it changes our cholesterol for the better. It's been purported that resistance training can increase our high density lipoprotein, or our HDL cholesterol, by between 8 and 21%. So a pretty big range in the research there. And the HDL cholesterol is our good cholesterol. It's what we want more of. But resistance training can also decrease our low density lipoproteins, or our LDL content, by around 13 to 23%. And that LDL is the cholesterol that we don't really want. And how cool is that? We get the good cholesterol, we go down with the bad cholesterol, and we move our bodies. Oh, am I the only one excited by all of this? Now, the next reason that you should try out resistance training is because it is amazing for our bone health. Resistance training can improve our bone mineral density. And this is just a measure of how healthy our bones are and how at risk they are of breaking. So about 30% of women and about 15% of men experience bone fractures because of a low bone mineral density. But luckily, we can see improvements in our bone mineral density after just 4 months of resistance training. It's been reported that exercise programs, including resistance training, can reverse that bone loss at rates of about 1% per year. So imagine if we just never stopped resistance training. What would our bone mineral density look like? For some more stats, some research has shown as much as a 3.2% improvement in bone mineral density following resistance training. 3.2%? Yes, please. And in young men, this increase in BMD was even higher, with an increase rate of about 2.2 to 7.7%. And that's through resistance training. And while we definitely will see some improvements in our bone health with things like cardio activities or any kind of weight-bearing exercise, we see the biggest improvements in our bone health when we add additional load, or when we do things like resistance or weight or strength training. Now, the next reason that we should all be doing resistance training is to keep our independence. In older adults, those who did 1 set of 6 resistance exercise machines twice a week increased their strength by 60 And as a result, they were able to do more things by themselves, and they were able to be more independent within their day-to-day life. We take our movement for granted when we're able to do it, but imagine if one day we really struggled to get in and out of a chair without help, or if we were really slow walking down the street and we couldn't cross the road in time. Our lives would be drastically different. And so to prevent this loss of independence and to stay strong and moving well, we need to make sure that we're doing resistance training. In older adults in particular, the benefits are really endless because resistance training can improve our movement control, our balance, our physical performance, and our walking speed. And this is not to mention the fact that regular resistance training also improves our cognitive abilities, particularly in older adults. Now, I am sure that we all have somebody that we love who is getting older, and maybe you starting resistance training will be an amazing way to try and inspire your older relatives or your older friends to get in the gym and try some new stuff themselves. We really want to encourage movement for everybody and to stay as active as they can for as long as possible. And most importantly, guys, we need to train for ourselves because we can't help others if we don't have our oxygen mask on first. We need to make sure that we're able to stay happy and healthy and doing the things we love for as long as possible too. Now, the last reason I wrote down as to why everybody should do resistance training that has nothing to do with weight or body composition, this is my favorite reason, and it is to get strong as If we're strong, we can get all of the benefits that I've already said, but we can also do things like open our own jars, move boxes, carry the groceries, lift suitcases, run faster, play with our kids, move more efficiently, go hiking, go dancing. Being strong can open up so many different career pathways, and it can allow us to feel inspired and empowered by the things that our body does. It can make it so that we're at lower risk of injury, which I have a whole video about. You can go look at those series of how strong you need to be. But there are so many things in our lives that can change if we're able to work on and develop our strength through resistance training. Now, those are all my reasons, and I'm just gonna point it out once more. I don't know whether you noticed, but none of them had anything to do with losing weight or changing the way your body looks. I am a firm believer that if we move our body well and we move it often and we nourish it in a way that feels good and healthy to us, then there's nothing more that really needs to be said. Like I mentioned in the beginning, and particularly with the use of social media, it's really easy to get wrapped up on how exercise can make our body look. And if you're a bodybuilder or something like that and aesthetics is your main sport, then that's completely fine, and I want you to train however you want. But it can get overwhelming to a lot of us. And so every now and then I need you to remember that we're moving because we love our body. We're not moving to punish it. We're moving our bodies because we want to take care of them and we want them to take care of us, not because we're trying to change it or because we think they're not good enough. Everybody, no matter what you look like, is deserving of movement. And so I hope you're able to find something that you like and that brings you joy. I just really, truly hope that you can try and get a little bit of resistance training in there. Just a little bit. You want to get all of those benefits, guys. All of them. But that is it for me today, guys. And as always, if you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing. It would make my day. I would love to have you all be a part of this little community that we've got going on here. And I would love for all of us to be a bit kinder of ourselves. Now go out and move. Go get those benefits, people. Have a great week, everybody. See ya.